Hi, my name is Mark Polt. I'm a buy and hold real estate investor in the greater Charlotte, North Carolina area. And as the title of this video says, you got to embrace the suck sometimes. And boy, have I been embracing it. We first off, I bought this car mount that uses a 3M sticky pad, and it worked good for about 30 days, which is right about when you can no longer return it on Amazon Prime, and it kind of stopped being sticky. And so came up with a brilliant idea to use the hot glue gun it to a plastic piece on my dashboard. See how that works out. Hopefully it works out well. But that's just been very annoying. These are things that I don't really particularly want to deal with. I would prefer just to have the sticky pad work. But we just have a whole lot going on, and things aren't working out easy. It's no different than probably any other situation we've ever been in. We just have a lot more of it going on, and there's just a lot of suck. We just closed on a property. It's a two-unit duplex. Got some fire damage, and there's all kinds of stuff going on around this particular property. I need to. I'm having trouble getting insurance on it, which is, kind of a pain in the butt. Spent a lot of time calling up different agencies. I need to obviously get this thing insured, but because it has fire damage and water damage and it needs a new roof, you can't just get a regular insurance policy. You have to get a construction policy. And I've spent way too much time trying to make that happen. So, anyways, I think that's just I think it's a product of North Carolina. Our insurance regulations here apparently are a little more difficult than, say, South Carolina or some other places. I don't know much about them, but I do know that we're kind of the last state to be able to do things like get short-term renters insurance for like an Airbnb. Speaking of which, my wife is converting my very first rental into an Airbnb. It's turning out to be a lot more work, a lot more effort, and a lot more money than I initially anticipated it would be. Honestly thought for about $3,000 we can get this thing furnished and up and running, and probably going to be more like, when we're all said and done, $7,000 to $8,000, maybe a little bit more. My wife is really good about finding stuff, and unfortunately I've been spending a lot of time going and tracking down materials and picking stuff up, which is things I don't particularly want to do, but I got to get done with this house. I had to repair two of my neighbors' fences because they were literally falling over in my yard, and you don't want to Airbnb out something with the neighbor's fence literally falling over in your yard. And so that took a lot more time than I thought it was going to take, and which is no different than any other project we do. I'm actually pretty bad about estimating the amount of effort to go into it. Some of that has to do with, once I get started, I come up with different ideas or a different way of doing it. Or oftentimes it's the very first time that I'm doing something, like I had to refurbish a deck, and I had never done that before, and so the very first time probably takes twice as long as it would the second or third time, because I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. Once I figure out how to do it, once you embrace the suck, then you know how to do it next time. You know what to expect. Maybe instead of taking 5 days, it takes 2 days. Who knows? But it's 6:52 p.m. on a Friday. I'm actually having to head to the duplex because code enforcement called the previous owner. The weeds are too high, or the grass is too high, and there's some garbage in the front. So I had to go get some garbage bags. I need to head over there. The rain stopped for a little bit. I need to kind of do what I can to keep code enforcement on my side. Definitely don't want to go to war with code enforcement. They can make your life bad. Well, they can bring down a whole different world of suck on you. And trust me, they have. I've actually been threatened to go to jail by code enforcement. And believe me, that is not something you really want to embrace. What else? I got this little head thing going on in my sinuses. Don't know what the hell's going on, but it really feels like I've been punched in the nose. And I'm not really happy about that. I'm hoping this goes away soon. Just one more part of the suck. I need to extract out some equity from one of our A-class properties. We figured it's worth about $305,000 to $325,000. I want to extract about $800,000 to $200,000 out of that. And I wanted to do it through a home equity line of credit. And I knew it was going to be difficult, and that there weren't a whole lot of people who offered that. But I mean, literally, there's only like there's only 2 places that offer it. One of them is Pentagon Federal, but you can't have more than 3 properties. We have way more than 3 properties. And the other is TD Bank. It's a little more pricey at TD Bank, but you know, they're kind of geared a little bit more towards what it is that I want to do. So it also takes a lot longer, and there are closing costs. And I believe they said the interest rate was 1.99% over prime, which is a little expensive. So maybe around 7% in early May. However, if I don't want to take all the money out. I mean, I could get a mortgage on a property and get $180,000, $200,000 in one lump sum. Really don't want to be paying interest on that money while it's just sitting there. And so I'd really prefer an equity line, and there's just not a whole lot of people who will do that on a non-owner occupied property. So I called up every federal credit union or every credit union in my area. None of them do it. They're all like, well, we can do it on your primary residence. I'm like, well, if I wanted to do it on my primary residence, I would have called and said, hey, can I get a home equity line of credit on my primary residence? That's not what I want to do. So I was hoping that one of the smaller banks would actually do it, and they don't, but they were very polite about it. Somebody at PNC Bank had actually told my wife that they do that when she was in there. Turns out they don't. So, you know, just a lot of suck. And this is just a sample, a small sample of the things that I'm having to deal with on a daily basis. My home fridge died. Apparently there's an air coolant leak on it. I had to go get another one. Got it for $250 from one of the local appliance people. Still had ice in it, so I suspected it was picked up that morning and replaced with something else. I got it for $250, which was a pretty good deal. So there's a problem with the defroster. All right, you know, and also the door handles. There's a screw, 2 screws for each door handle, total of 3 door handles, 6 screws. They didn't come with it. So, you know, it's just a little bit of suck on that part. You know, if you get it from Kenmore, they want like $12 a screw. I was able to find them on eBay for like $8 or $7 for 2. They won't be here till next week. You know, I had to get a defrost sensor. You know, that's $12 or $13, but you got to take apart the freezer section and stick it in. Not something I really want to be dealing with right now, but it's what you got to deal with when you're in this industry. And my favorite tool, my trailer, my little 5x8 trailer. I blew an inside wheel bearing on one of the tires, utterly destroyed all the bearings and stuff on it. It got to the point where I had to order a new axle. It's supposed to be in from Texas. I think it's supposed to be in tonight by 11 p.m. I got to put that on. Not to mention I'm going to war with my HOA, amongst other things. So don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I tell God thank you all day long. I appreciate the fact that I have these problems, because if I didn't have these problems, then, you know, I wouldn't be working towards financial freedom. Anyways, kind of rambled on a little bit, but this is just a small sample of what's going on in my life. Anyways, I hope you go out there and live the You Won't Stop Me lifestyle. It's about 3 things: knowledge, wisdom, and experience. Once you gain those, nobody can ever take that away from you. They can take all your properties away from you in a divorce, in a lawsuit from the IRS, but once you have those 3 things, you can get it all back. Anyways, I wish you success.